Hey y'all, happy Thursday, I think, July 2nd. I believe that's right, Thursday. Anyway, I'm at the fireworks town, and it's 1,000 degrees. Oh my gosh. Anyway, come see us. We're in Charlotte on South Tryon Street and East W.T. Harris Boulevard. We're at 210s. So go and see us. We got plenty of sparklers, every kind of fireworks. Just come on. Anyway, but in Charlotte, so one of my mother's favorite students ever, on that inner circle, one of the top five, probably one of the top three, definitely one of the top three, maybe you can make the argument her favorite student ever, and I'll leave that to your discernment. But as a guy, and she used to routinely tell him, sometimes your loyalty is misguided, because he was loyal to the death. If you were his friend and he believed in you, that's just all there was. His loyalty was beyond question. And I think that is to be admired. And I have known him a long time, and it is true. He is loyal to the death. I have, and I do have a great many acquaintances, a few really good friends that I would count on the inner circle. Few. That's not a knock, it's just few. And I do have one in particular that I think is loyal to the death. It's Bo Childress. Bo is loyal to the death. And I have tried, partly because of Bo, and partly because of that other fellow, my mother's favorite student, who I also love enormously, because of the way I've watched them live and what they do. I've tried to embrace that kind of loyalty. Now, I don't extend it to everybody, just, like I'm handing out Happy Meals or something. It's not that. But if I decide that I'm on your team and I love you and I care about you, it would take a near biblical event to drive me away. I take loyalty quite seriously, and I don't invoke it recklessly. But once you make the list, it's kind of like Jeff Foxworthy said, the way men behave about shoes. With women, shoes have to make the team every year, and with men, once you commit to a pair of shoes, it's a lifetime deal. I feel that way too. All right, so nonetheless, loyalty. It's a big deal for me. It taints my perception of other people, because I watch for their loyalty, and are they committed to the cause or the institution or the school or the team or the organization or whatever it might be. And that just tells me much about a man or a woman. Is their loyalty temporary, or, anyway. And all of these things that I post on social media, and the commentaries and the news reports and the stories and all that, and typically for things, particularly the dark times, and I've mentioned this here recently, I do not engage with people because I'm not going to get into it. My purpose of that is not to instigate conflict or bring about more division. It is simply a sharing. From my perspective, it is sharing of a factual news story. And so often, there are attacks that follow those. And some of those attacks are not from people I even know, but they happen. I just do not engage. But sometimes someone to whom I have committed lifelong loyalty, and when their response to something that I've said or something I've shared is not to question, not to engage, not to have a conversation, but to attack, I cannot begin to describe the depth of what I perceive as a betrayal. It really is. When you have invested thousands of hours and created millions of memories, and it's someone that you love and care for and still do respect, and I question their loyalty and how fleeting it must be to simply turn and attack that you would surrender all that we have built together to defend someone who is immoral and unethical and a criminal. That stings and hurts in a very different kind of way. And I've just had enough of that lately, and nothing to do about it. As I'm not going to call, I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to do that. You ever love somebody too much to argue with them? It's where I am. But I'll tell you, it'll be a long time, if ever, that I can look past that betrayal, that absence of loyalty. And you don't have to believe what I believe, but you can be respectful. You can maintain a friendship and still find common ground and say, all right, we feel differently, let's go get something to eat. And this person has chosen not to do that. They have chosen to repeatedly attack. And that hurts. It hurts. And I think about that person every day, and I just don't know when I'll get over it. I really don't. Really don't. The disappointment runs deep. Deep. If you're going to be loyal, be about it, or just don't bother. You are loved. See y'all later. Bye.